name is John Myatt. In my time, I've been a teacher, a painter, and an art forger. In 1999, I was jailed for forging over 200 paintings, a crime that rocked the art world, and I paid the price for it. These days, I paint in the style of the great masters and sell them legally as honest fakes. And I've started teaching the tricks of my trade to aspiring artists because all painters can learn by copying others. Today, my students will be taking on a French artist whose technique was so revolutionary, people called him a wild beast.
Why am I doing this? I'm just a Sunday painter.
It's definitely going to be a challenge.
For today's class, we're in the very heart of London to paint one of the most famous views of this city, the River Thames. It's inspired some of the greatest artists of all time. And what I find so fascinating is the way that they've all seen it completely differently. But at the beginning of the 20th century, few were as radical as our painter today, one of the art world's greatest rebels, Derain.
Born in France in 1880, Derain was a contemporary of the later Impressionists, but he quickly rejected their style. Instead, he embraced pure colour applied to the canvas in daring strokes and bold shapes.
Derain and his colleagues were fearless in their approach to painting, and this caused an absolute uproar. The leading critic of the time described them as wild beasts, fauvist in French, and so Derain found himself at the centre of the first art revolution of the 20th century, fauvism.
In its day, fauvism was ridiculed as naive, childish in the worst sense, but it's a deceptively simple style. Derain painted in oils, but our artists will be using acrylics, and they'll have just one day to produce a fauvist masterpiece. Can they rise to the challenge?
I'd describe what I do as fine art with a spray can.
I'm a self-taught artist. I haven't had any formal training.
My name's Alana Barker. I'm from Fareham and I'm an art student.
I used to be a graffiti artist, if you like, but I've kind of moved on from that and progressed over the years.
I'm hoping it'll improve my personal style in the sense that it might help me have the confidence to start finding one.
On the day, it'll be whether I feel like painting or not. If I do feel like painting, then it might turn out all right. If I'm not in the mood to paint, then it won't be very good at all.
I'm a bit nervous about being asked to achieve something in the style of another painter because it's something that I haven't done, but then again, that's the challenge and that's half the reason why I'm here, is to challenge myself, maybe try something different.
We're moored here today at the Victoria Embankment, the perfect setting for a 21st century fauvist masterpiece. Now, the problem for anybody working like Derain today is quite simply to let go, just to let go and not be confined and restricted by the literal reality they see out there in front of them. Well, Jason, Alana, Gail, welcome aboard. Today, your challenge is to paint in the style of one of the 20th century's most outrageous artists. Here we go. Derain. Any thoughts about this? Gail?
I'm really pleased.
Do you know much about him?
No.
Familiar with it?
Was he one of the fauvist?
Yes, he was.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Alana?
Yeah, no, I like it. I don't think I've seen him before though, but I really like it. I think it's really nice.
Jason?
Very nice, yeah. It's really interesting. The kind of stuff that I normally paint is kind of very precision painted and sort of high finish on it, and this is going to be very loose, and it's definitely going to be a challenge.
This painting is called Charing Cross Bridge and was painted in around about 1906, just about 50 yards across the river over there where he stood to do it. The colours here, of course, are not true to life, are they? The Houses of Parliament are not actually green, nor is the sky pink. Have you any idea why he did this? Any particular thoughts on what was going through his mind? What if I told you that he didn't like London? He found it was grey, drab and depressing.
It's kind of give it some colour.
Yes, wake it up a bit.
Yeah.
This painting is as much about how you feel, about your emotional state, than what you see. So you've got to kind of get in touch with your inner beast and just let it out.
Derain and the Fauves were great at just getting the paint onto canvas, committing to something really fast and not changing their minds. But they often began by sketching out their compositions and deciding what colours to use.
What I'd like you to do is just draw a smallish square on your sketchbook, and then consider the kind of composition you're looking at. And another one, you say, well, I don't like that one very much, and so forth. So just very quick kind of compositional sketches until you think, quite happy with this one. I'll just work it up a bit more. No more than 3 or 4 minutes, just to kind of fix in your own mind where you're going, and then we put the brush to the canvas. All the detail you can see in these buildings is of no relevance whatsoever. He would have seen the whole profile of those things as one block of colour, and it would probably be green or pink or something as well. I think Derain could have used these rails here as a foreground motif to actually help the composition a little bit. Even this thing, frankly, is quite an interesting bit of intense colour, isn't it? I can imagine him using that.
This bit is a bit nerve-wracking because I'm thinking this is out of proportion and why am I doing this? I'm just a Sunday painter.
Completely different to what I normally do. I normally, would say my paintings are large-scale murals and to sit down and sketch. Yeah, no, it's not what I normally do.
They're off to a good start. Let's hope they're going to be bold with their colours.
I suppose you'll have to have a sense in your mind, what colour are you going to paint the sky? It can be blue if you want it to be. But, I mean, do you feel a bit of green or a bit of pink coming on?
Sort of purple? No. Like a light, sort of lilac-y purple colour.
Colour coming on. Absolutely. You've got the right here to choose. If you feel like a purple sky it is.
I'm not convinced Alana knows where she's going with this yet.
I like to spend time with the actual sketching out of things, and I like to get things just right before I actually start painting them. That might be one of my weaknesses.
When you're clear about the colours, we want a brush, a smallish brush, I would say, something along these lines, with Prussian blue on it, or a dark blue, and we transfer the sketch to the canvas. I'm sorry to rush, but I think there is a sense of let's get on with it with this painting. Is there any more to be said about are you happy enough?
No.
Do you need to define that edge?
Yeah.
I think we're finished with the blue process, and now you've all made your separate decisions about the colour of the sky or the colour of the foreground. Just do it. Red, anybody? Yellow? Red and yellow. Red and yellow. There's a red. White, anybody? Always useful. Always useful. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, it's good to see them slapping on the paint. Which reminds me, let's take a little pause while I give you one of my top tips.
There's no getting away from the fact, is there, that art materials are very expensive. And there's no reason at all why you shouldn't use something like this. This is the kind of paint you paint on the walls. Get it in red, yellow, blue, white and black. It'll mix with all the other paints you buy from the art shop like this, in tubes or in little pots like this. Use it, it might be cheap, but it does the job.
I didn't have the luxury of paints when I was prisoner BX 9603 in Brixton Prison.
The shock of the first 3 or 4 days is really catches you by surprise. And after about 4 days, I got my pencils out and I sketched my cell. There's 2 of you in this cell. Toilet seat was there, then all this was galvanised, hot and cold, water there, toothpaste and stuff. And then the table there and 2 hot pipes there and barred windows up here. People in no time at all learn what you've been convicted for. And since mine was down, I think, as art fraud, and a few of them had read about it in the paper, I got called Picasso almost immediately. I got in there. So, I mean, there's a lot worse things you can be called in Brixton, Nick. So, I mean, I was quite happy with that, really.
And Picasso and Derain knew each other. Picasso was even a fauvist himself for a time before his remarkable career took off. And both had their artistic roots in that other great European capital city, Paris.
Paris in the 1900s was the most exciting place to be. It was the cultural magnet that pulled in artists, philosophers, writers, poets from all over the world, in fact. André Derain hung around with these people, but essentially he wasn't like them. Derain was a strange, moody, alienated intellectual and constantly questioning his own work, which led to him, in later life, destroying painting after painting.
Better check and make sure none of my artists have done that kind of Derain.
If you look at the paintings, I think we're well on the way to getting quite a good result. In fact, better than quite good. This lady here, you see, has covered the canvas. That's what I really wanted to see, was I wanted to see the canvas covered, early days. And now look, Jason at the end there, he's blocked in the bottom, he's got a purple.
I can see Alana's really trying, but she doesn't seem comfortable with Derain. In some ways, that's not surprising. You see, fauvism was really an early form of expressionism. It's a very subjective art form, so you have to almost feel the colours. You have to feel like red or pink or orange. It's a lot to ask of some students.
You need confidence. That's what gets you to put paint on canvas. If you haven't got confidence, you don't even start.
Look. Take a look at it, okay? I mean, that is a statement, isn't it? It's a statement about a big blue line across the middle of it. Is it a confident statement? Yes. Does it register? Yes. So what does it need? It needs a bit more intensity in the colours, I think.
Yeah.
If this is pink, let's just bloody well go for it and make it pink.
Yeah, some of the colours look
I
drab.
wanted to scream pink at me, okay? And then let's have some fun here. Just get in there and enjoy it. Let's have nice, different kinds of orange.
Yeah.
Okay, just get like you're 4 years old again. You're mixing orange because it's a lovely colour, and you're going to put it on here and enjoy it. It's just that little bit of, it's that little bit of wild beastiness, You've got, you've got to dig out that inner beast. But it's a nice beast, It's not an angry beast. It just likes painting.
Jason's beast is definitely on the loose, but Alana's hasn't quite got out of the cage yet.
So, Alana, how are you feeling?
Not so great. I don't like this sort of whole wood here. It's not.
You're losing. You've lost a bit of confidence since actually you put this. Why don't we mix a lighter blue?
Okay.
Let's have a lighter blue and see what happens when we apply the lighter blue to this shape, this whole shape, and then we'll think again.
Yeah.
Every painting goes through this kind of stage where you look at it and think, oh, it was great when I saw it in my head. It's not so good when I see it on the canvas. Okay? So start with the white. We want a light blue, not a dark one. Now look how much better that is. Isn't that better now already? That's really lovely. And we're going to lose this one as well?
Should I?
I don't know. I mean, let's just lose a bit of it, because sometimes,
the other side.
really a good painting is just a series of the successful exploitation of mistakes, as someone once said. And just try me a cloud going across that way. Now, in your own time, deep breath. Where do we
Just go.
just perhaps at the top? No, I don't think so. Should we just go? What do you feel coming on? I mean, you're the wild beast here, not me.
Okay.
Have some guts. Make a mark now. Good. Stop. Make another one underneath it. Good. And again. Stop.
Okay.
Do these feel like honest marks to you?
No.
No.
They look like.
Is there anything we can do with them? Can we make a solid shape here? Perhaps, you know. Let's try it and see. Make a solid shape. Yeah, fill it in.
Can I do that? It sort of looks like a child's painting.
But that's the point, Alana. I hope the others have got it.
I've been doing graffiti for 23 years. It's a significant art form now. If I had a box of emulsion paints with paintbrushes, people are fine with it. But if I bring out a box with spray paint in it, immediately you think, oh, graffiti, vandalism.
And normally you work in aerosols.
Yes, normally I work in aerosols on a huge scale.
On a huge scale.
Yeah, like big
and now
scale.
you're working with small paintbrushes on
small
a
paintbrushes.
small scale. How's it feel?
It's great because I can be a lot more loose. So I thought I was going to struggle being
Really?
like, oh no, because I'm normally sort of very anal about everything and it's got to be just right.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas this is, it's fantastic.
I think that's there. You know, we can say that.
I'm going to try and put a few of the little details back in
Yes.
with the blue.
Yeah.
Outline a few things.
Okay. Lovely. This is a very good example of what happens when you turn the rules upside down, really. Red is not a recessive colour. It's supposed to come forward instead of go back, but this is the sky. It's the blue that's supposed to recede, but it's in the foreground. And Jason and Derain would have done this for expressive purposes, for decorative purposes, to challenge the eye in some way, to say, look, I'm in charge here. This is my painting, and this is how I want it to be. And this was where it was at, if you like, at the turn of the century. The artist was taking charge, and the rules and the academies and everything else were basically being overthrown completely. And by 1920, it had all gone. But here's the beginning, if you like, of the end of representational painting as such.
Whilst many 20th century artists continued to embrace the freedom that fauvism represented, by the First World War, Derain had abandoned it.
Between the wars, André Derain developed a classical style. The French loved it, French collectors loved it, but unfortunately the Nazi Party loved it as well. And during the German occupation of France, Derain was invited to Berlin. On his return, and particularly after the war, he was dubbed a collaborator, and his reputation has never recovered from that day to this. May I give you a squirt, please, madam?
A top tip for working outside with acrylics is to spray them occasionally with water. It stops them from drying out.
Oh, well, this is really picked up. What about blocking it? Yeah, what about taking a tip from what he's done over there and blocking it on one side here, just blocking that, and then coming to a point somewhere here, right, where it stops being blocked? That's what I'm basically rambling on about.
Brush.
This is blocked, okay? This isn't.
Yeah.
So it's a nice contrast, really. He has actually introduced a few moments here of blue over the red, but effectively this is solid area paint and this isn't.
Yeah.
So let's use that in your painting.
It's a bit bold to do something like that when I've been doing something quite safe.
That's it. Now that's it, Gail. And then you can feather it with some... See what he's done? He's put just blue... Doof, 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 doof. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Bit of courage, you see. Always does the trick.
The beast in me.
Right. Well, I think what we've got is a situation where our artists are now plucking up courage and just going for broke. They've got about an hour or two before they finish, and these paintings must not be overworked either. There will come a point in about half an hour's time where the fiddling starts, and oh, should I be doing this or should I not? And that's really the point where you stop and just leave it alone. But it's lovely to see Gail here, who's taken the plunge with that big block of red on the left-hand side, which is actually doing the business for her now, I think. Lovely. Alana's doing much the same thing. You see the sky? Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Oh, that's lovely. Actually, you could almost have a shape coming down like that and let that feather as well. Come back. Can I just... I'm sorry about this. I'm just going to... if you see what I see, it's quite nice, isn't it? Just that shape done.
Yeah. Should I go over all the clouds? Or just...
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
Do you like the clouds?
I do. I like the ones to the left, but I'll patch over that one.
Then explode the ones with red that you don't like.
Okay.
We're in charge here, aren't we? Damn clouds never sit still anyway, so it serves them right if they get... Okay, lovely, well done. That's the making of that now. I'm sorry. So the artists are at this point now where I think we can see Derain actually emerging from the struggle, and it has been a struggle that they're undertaking. As we move along to the end here, Jason's doing a nice 21st century take on Derain's response to the Pool of London and all the work that went on. And Jason's, of course, is just a response to all this stuff that's flying over our heads all the time. Aeroplanes, helicopters, and that rather sinister wheel on the left that looks as though it's just about to burst off its hinges and go crashing over the river. But again, all of them have actually amplified Derain's original statement. We've got red skies, yet it's not sunset. Righto, ladies and gentlemen, you have got 10 minutes to finish. 10 minutes from now, please. Don't want you overworking these paintings. Derain would have known when to stop.
Well, Derain may have known when to stop with his art, but I'm not so sure the same could be said about his personal life.
Derain had what you might call an on-off marriage with his wife Alice, who was called the cat-faced girl. They had a home outside of Paris, but in the centre of town he kept his pied-à-terre, where he met his mistresses, by whom, incidentally, he fathered 2 children. Well, this didn't go down very well with Alice, and the marriage effectively ended. And later on, in 1954, he was hit by a truck, seriously injured, and he went to hospital. Alice came to visit him just before he died, and they effected a reconciliation.
Time to find out if our artists have managed to reconcile their personal styles with that of Derain.
Alana, the moment of truth. Here's your painting in a gilt frame. What do you think?
I don't know.
You do? Well, I think it's a very courageous bit of work. We struggled really here for quite a while, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I think we've got a result. Do you like it?
It's not sort of a grown-up painting, if you see what I mean. It's like something I would have done when I was like 10.
Okay, yeah. You think it's naive in a sense?
Sort of, yeah. It's not very similar to the artist, I don't think.
If there is a problem, it came at the sketching stage where maybe we missed a chance to make he would have made a really big statement,
yeah.
a really big statement with that motif there. And perhaps I left you alone to just develop that area a bit too long, where we should or could perhaps have had a really strong statement there. The reason this isn't working is because compositionally it's not quite strong enough. Yeah, okay.
When I first saw Derain's painting, I thought, fantastic, that's really sort of simple, easy thing to do. And then you have to sit down and do it, and you change your mind and want to go home.
Okay, Jason, the moment of truth for you, your painting in a gilt frame. There we go. I'm very impressed here. It's really lovely. Great success. Well done.
Yeah, I'm fairly happy with it. I think I might have overworked it a bit though. Maybe tried to get too much detail going on, but yeah.
This is a noisy painting. You know, it's really about travel and movement, recreation and history. There's just so many good things here. This white line right the way is inspirational. This curve here, brilliant. The funnel of the boat, it's exactly what he would have done. He would have seen a block of blue, brown, pink, and he'd have done exactly that. It takes the fauvist inspiration of bold shapes, bold colours, and deals with it. Here, we just get to meet Mr. Fussy. You know, Mr. Fussy wants a vanishing point, and you know, he wants his perspective and so forth. But if we remove that area of the painting, we've got a damn near perfect Derain. Really, really interesting. Really good.
The best thing he said was release the beast within, I think. And it's true, yeah. Maybe just be a bit more loose with my painting.
Gail, your Derain.
Thank you.
What do you think?
I'm very pleased with it. When I see it framed, it's given it a certain dignity it didn't have.
It has indeed, hasn't it? It's a serious work of art. I think it really does succeed. The ingredients are very simple, just a line over the middle. This was your inspiration, wasn't it? Just from the drawing, from the sketch drawing. Also, you should be congratulated on the way you've actually got the man's feel, the touch of the painting here, particularly in this area down here. I think you're getting close to something which is really quite true for Derain as well. And you've kept it simple. And because you've kept it simple, it's succeeded. Well done. I think it's an extremely good Derain. And it's a nice painting as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All you need down there is a signature.
The crisscross, the red crisscross, I thought, I'm so glad he's given me permission to do that, because I wasn't doing the bridge, which is where Derain had done it. I was doing the embankment. But given the permission to cheat in such a way, made it look like one of his. It made it look authentic.
It's remarkable what these three have achieved in just one day. Alana didn't give up. She found the courage to finish the job. Jason proved that he's a talented artist who didn't waste his youth doing graffiti. And Gail may not have found her own style yet, but for me her painting is most like a Derain. It's for you to decide if it was the best. Wherever these three go with their art, they should always remember to set that wild beast free.